People always ask me, why do bad things happen to good people, especially Christians? We live in a fallen world, which means sin is pretty much rampant in our world. But what we don't want to get into is a place of thinking that because you are a Christian, that things won't happen to you. And then bigger than that, to think that because I'm a good person, nothing shall happen to me that's bad. Like the Bible says that there's nobody good in the world except Jesus. Now, what I think we could do with that is, number one, we have to consistently reframe our mind from thinking that everything is good or bad. Sometimes it's just the way it is, right? Nobody wants to catch a flat. Nobody wants to experience like a death or a loss. We don't want those things, but it doesn't mean that we have to be labeling it as bad. It's just something that's inconvenient that we don't like. So reframing the mind is probably the first tip I would give. And that's not easy, right? It takes time to keep reframing your mind from things that you used to think or how the world thinks. Like the world thinks if something bad happens to you, you cancel the whole day, go under a rock, and you don't live. So reframing the mind is probably, I don't want to say the hardest, but the most challenging for us probably nowadays. The second thing I would do is start to actually pray when those things happen. I had made a pact with God that if something happened that was out of my control or it made me mad, that I would bring it to him in prayer. Now, I'm just telling on myself, it doesn't mean that I bring it to him immediately. I've gotten better, but I haven't mastered it yet. It doesn't mean I bring it to him immediately, but within the day, I'm going to bring it up to him in prayer. God, what do you want me to see out of this circumstance? What do you want me to get out of the situation? And like I said, that's not easy, right? There are times where I failed at that. I failed the other day at this exact test where I got mad. I didn't do anything physically, but I was just bothered in myself. And I didn't bring it to God immediately. I just started just dwelling on it. But I would say bring it to God as soon as you can to find out this may actually be like the step that you need. This may actually be the open door, something that's actually better. You just may not know it because we're wrapped up in our head thinking that things need to be good. It has to be the way it is. So number one, reframing the mind. Number two, bringing it to God in prayer. And number three, which I believe we all can get better at, is talking it out with a person that you trust. Sometimes just having a sounding board lets you know that, hey, I'm not going crazy. I just have these thoughts in my head that aren't the best, or these things happen. I need to just talk it out. And if you're a person listening, practice actively listening. You don't have to give an answer or a solution, but it doesn't mean because you're a Christian that bad things won't happen. And it doesn't mean that because you're a good person that bad things won't happen. It happens to all of us, right? 50 Cent had a song that came from an old quote, when it rains, it pours. Or he said also the other part of the song that joy wouldn't feel good if it wasn't for pain. So be encouraged. I'll be shooting more videos about just how we see God, how we see the Bible. And if you have questions, hit me up in the comments. Be great. I'm out of here.